everyone. Welcome to GodSpark Nation. Yeehaw! Let's just put that energy out there, raise the vibration, the frequency of this room, and get the party started. It's so exciting to be creators and creating this new world that we are stepping into. And at QHS, we are stepping into this new phase, like extremely soon. And it reminds me of this wild, wild west. You know, those settlers, they knew that there was land to explore and settle, and they were excited for this better life. And these wagon trains were created because they wanted a new life and they were escaping their old one. And in all cases, they faced an uncertain future. They counted on each other like we do here at QHS, and they formed lasting friendships. And I have to say that this admin team are some of my closest friends now after a year and a half being here. So the wagon ride took 3 months or even longer, and our wagon, we know, has taken longer than 3 months, just depending on the weather and other outside circumstances. And often these people, they actually decided to stay where they found themselves instead of venturing further on. Like in that show 1883, great show until the end, worst end ever. I have never sobbed. Well, that's not true. I sobbed so much, but never like that during a TV show. And I said, I am not going to watch you guys again. You suck. So, but it was a post-Civil War generation. This Dutton family, they travel to Texas to join a wagon train, and they undertake this journey west to Oregon. However, they decided to settle in Montana, and they established the Yellowstone Ranch. And recently, Dr. Ruby wrote this incredible blog post that she talks about writing for the brand. And it takes this deeper, richer meaning in this vast world of quantum reality. And this phrase, writing for the brand, is steeped in the history of the American West. It signifies more than just allegiance. It embodies this trust, loyalty, a profound connection between a boss and the riders, a love for the land, and a strong sense of belonging to a close-knit community, a close-knit family, willing to give their all for the brand and each other. It's just like Cynthia says, do you have 2 feet in? So as you know, QHS is going into uncharted territory, disrupting other industries along the way. Industries that fail their oath to protect humanity, industries that are making our people sick, industries that are charging us for services that God intended for us to enjoy freely. But not for long, Cowboy, right? We know, you know, QHS knows that there's something better on the other side of these Rockies, and we are creating it, and so are you with 2 feet in. We have our hats and we have our buggies tied to this horse train, and we are cantering through the uncharted wilderness with a wild look of hope and faith in our eyes. We have hope for what's to come, faith in God's promises, and a deep knowing, deep, deep in your heart that we deserve, that everyone deserves a better life. So cowboy up, roll up your sleeves, because my friends, we have work to do. And that just makes me get shivers that GodSpark is just all over right now, because the goal here at GodSpark Nation is to help you anchor your vision, intention, and actions. Because if your vision and intentions are not anchored, then we have work to do. So your goal is to let your friends know that you are anchored in where you are going. And if you need help with your vision intention, let us know. Let me know, because that should already be there. What we want to work on now is these actions to help you create this new world. All right. So today I'm going to talk about 2 more, giving examples and then asking you for some examples as well. So the first principle I'm going to talk about tonight is the meaning of communication is the response you get. And I'm going to I just had an example of this today. So what this means in review, because I've already talked about this, but in review, you must be a noticer. and use your senses, sight, smell, sound, everything, to notice the other individual if they are acknowledging your message or missing your point. Today, I sent Laura a message and she missed my point. And I said, if you didn't understand what I said, will you please ask for clarity? All right, because otherwise there's no point in sending a message. But this is also true in reverse. If someone is saying something to you that you don't comprehend, ask for clarification if you are not clear on it, because the problem is if you think that they meant something else and you act on that, then it's worse than just asking for clarity, right? Sometimes people are afraid to do that because they don't want to be seen as stupid. But if you're around Cynthia, she says all these words that you go, I'm going to have to look that one up. I'm going to have to look that one up because her vocabulary is so rich and they just come out second nature. But if I'm unclear on something she's directing me to do, boy, I can make some big boo-boos. So sometimes when I say something, it is taken in the wrong way. So I have to say it differently. And this can be my words or even the tone I use. Like my horse Shadow. Sometimes I gently say, ho, which means stop for you Yankees. And he doesn't stop. He just keeps going. He must have thought I said go, ho, go. They kind of sound the same. So I needed to change my communication with him and I shouted, ho! So he finally stopped because he could clearly see that, I meant for him to stop this time. It wasn't like a ho, which could sound like go. So anyways, here at QHS, the vision in a piece of communication, be it an email or a newsletter, may not be comprehended by you as a member. Sometimes it's not comprehended by us. So what we need to do is send out a clarifying piece to ensure that the point is clear. Now, remember that communication is not just the words you speak or write, it's your facial expressions, your body language, and a smile goes a long way. So put on a smile. If you're not smiling, just smiling. They have that, I'm not going to say the word because it's a bad word, and ladies don't talk like that here in the South, but you know what they call it? RBF, when you have a straight line right here, like that. If you don't know, look it up. So who here wants to share a way that their communication that they can explain to themselves, or an example where their communication was unclear and they acted on it, or they asked for clarity, or somebody said something to them that was unclear and they were able to have a dialogue to make sure that their communication was clear. So the next one we have says being flexible. It's about flexibility. So when being flexible ensures the highest chance of success. And if you aren't doing, if what you are doing isn't working, do something else. Okay, this is flexibility. And we've heard that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. But this principle speaks to the GodSpark of action. Now let's go back to the pioneers crossing the country with horses and wagons. Now they had a vision of where they wanted to go. Their intention was how they were going to get there, but their actions had to be flexible because there was no Google map showing them how to get there, or of the terrain that would have been on a map. Maybe someone had a simple paper map, maybe, not sure. But that didn't show the whole terrain, even if they did. And that's principle number one, if you remember. It's the map does not equal the territory. So these travelers, these pioneers, they had to pivot when they were presented like with a huge mountain or a large body of water, or even like some hostiles, right? So their actions had to pivot along the way. Now, for me, Cynthia jokes that I live by my calendar and I try to keep her stay on task with things, help her stay organized. However, I am very task oriented, very organized on my calendar, but I'm very, very flexible in my approach to most things. And I can pivot, as you may have seen recently with the prequel. I thought it was starting like a month ago. And But what happens is when you're in an organization such as this, or the ones you're going to be created, it really helps to be able to have some sense of flow. And this actually can help you be even more sufficient than having a strict calendar. And sometimes I straddle this line because I'm very flexible, but I do have my calendar. And my husband always teases me that I'm a free spirit, but you know, he loves who I am. So it is what it is, right? And there's a couple quotes that I want to share with you on this that I love. I love quotes if you haven't figured it out. One of them is a yoga teacher of mine said years ago, to be as strong as a mountain, yet as fluid as a stream. So that reminds me of the example I just shared with you on my life, is that I am very strong when it comes to my schedule, but I'm very flexible because I'm not married to that action. And I also love, blessed are the flexible, for they shall not break. So ask yourself, are you flexible, fluid, or a combo of both? Or are you rigid in your actions? Like my husband is not very flexible. When we go away for a weekend, he always wants to go the same place. He likes to go the same restaurants. He's very, like, seriously, we've been going to the same taqueria for 20 years every Thursday night. I mean, that's crazy, right? He says to me when I joke around with him about it, he goes, well, at least I kept you, 35 years later. So remember that our quantum reality is very flexible. It's internal and external at the same time. Left, right, up, down, all around, all at the same time. And this is flexibility at its finest. And it differs greatly from the matrix reality that we are escaping. And your shift happens consciously, subconsciously, and unconsciously. It could be in this lifetime, past lifetimes, and future lifetimes, all simultaneously. So when you know this and you let it go into your heart and you really grasp this divine creation that we are, this is a game changer. And it will bring you the hope and the faith to get to the other side of this huge mountain. I just got shivers again. That's the GodSpark. So the question for you guys tonight in your rooms, your burning question is, how can you be more flexible in your life right now? And how has this beautiful white angel, this QT wave, helped you with that?